Stay home, stay safe, and of course, wear a mask. Dear students, I had already taken the subject which I am going to speak about yesterday in an online class, but yet I am recording it and sending it so that those who missed that class could go through this and learn and understand this subject. I had already spoken to you about the various systems that were established in India by the British people, like judicial system, police system, and so on. And now we will also discuss about the military system that was established in India. You know, the Britishers really needed a great help of many people to fight against the princes or the kings in India, because there were a lot of small kings and princes in India, and they had to fight with them, and they themselves did not have manpower for that, so they had to recruit from India, and so they invited more people to join the military, British military. Naturally, lot of poverty those days, many people joined British military. Although they were part of the military, they were never given any high respect by the Britishers. They were all given lowest position in the military. The maximum they could grow was as a Subedar, and all other higher positions were given only to British people. Indian people were considered as coolie soldiers, like daily wage earners. They were coolie soldiers. So they never had any higher respect or high rank given by the Britishers. Only later on, in 1857, Peel was appointed to study about the conditions of the soldiers in British India. He studied and he submitted a report in 1857, and then onwards a lot of changes took place in the military system. So that is about the military system. Now we go to next important system that was established in India by the British. That is modern system of education. System of education what we see today was not present earlier. It has gradually evolved, came up. We know we have heard through our epics and through the various people of the past, that we had a good system of education that was known as Gurukula system. And you know how rishis and teachers imparted knowledge to the students through this Gurukula system. And students could go and live with Guru, work with Guru, eat with Guru, and stay in his house. And then they gradually learned a lot from their own gurus. That is known as Gurukula system. And later on, for so many centuries this was going on in India. And later on, when Mughals came, you know what has happened? They also had a system of education, and they started implementing their system of education also. But it was not widespread in India. Of course, the greater part here and there, this system of education was prevalent. But the modern system of education, as we see today, was brought in by the Britishers. Years ago, When the Britishers came to India, naturally their children had to study, and their children does not know how to read and write our local languages. So the British people had to establish English schools for them. So they established schools for those children. Indian children could not attend those schools. Only English children could attend those schools. There was no benefit for any of the Indian children. It was later Warren Hastings, when he became Governor General, he brought forth the idea of universalization of education, education for everybody, not only the British, also for Indians. And he established in 1781 Calcutta Madrasa in Calcutta. That was in 1781. That was Warren Hastings. He was the Governor General. And later we see in 1792, Jonathan Duncan started a college at Banaras that was known as Sanskrit College. And later we see Charles Grant pressing for universalization of British education in India. For everybody, let there be education. That was what Charles Grant had proposed. So accordingly, when William Bentinck became the new Governor General in 1828, he supported this idea and he was greatly for this universalization of education. We have already gone through and studied that all these Governor Generals had executive committee, like Prime Minister having all other ministers. Like that, this Governor General also of those days had executive committee to help him, to support him. So this William Bentinck also had this executive committee, and in that committee, among those committee members, one of the prominent person was known as Macaulay. And this William Bentinck appointed this Macaulay as a chairperson on the committee on education. So he wanted to give more thrust for education in India. So Macaulay was appointed to study about it. And Macaulay gave a report in 1835. Basing on that, the modern system of education took shape or took birth in India. From 1830s onwards, we can say that English education came into existence in India. And along with that, universities also were established. You know the main centers of British in India: Calcutta, Bombay, Madras. So a person called Charles Wood was also appointed to study about the need of universities, and he gave a lot of suggestions, and basing on his suggestions, universities were opened in India when Governor General was Lord Dalhousie. The main centers of universities were Madras, Bombay and Calcutta. These were the main British centers. So they established these universities in those centers. And like that, education took a great leap, great jump forward in India during the British period. Thus, we can say that education became universalized in India for everybody. And what are the impact or the effect of this system of education which was implemented by the Britishers? These are the main. 1. Indians could develop modernity, secularism, democratic attitudes and rationality along with the nationalistic ideals. Indian people could develop a sense of modernity, modern thinking. Till then they were having a very secluded mind. So now they could go beyond their thinking and go beyond, and a modern thinking has set in. And also thinking about secularism. They thought that only about religion, all those things, that was more important, but they understood that that is more than that, we need a secular feeling, respecting every other religion. And also the attitude of democracy, because they were able to read many books, so they were able to understand there is something called a democracy. And democracy, we know, government of the people, by the people, and from the people, elected by the people. So the sense of democracy also came into the minds of Indian people only because they could read and write the books written by people outside. And also rationalistic thinking, rationality was given prominence because of the education. Thinking, not depending on all kind of superstitions. Give away all superstitions and go and think with your brain. So that is called rationality. And the next impact of this education was, impetus was received for the local literature and languages. This facilitated unity in thinking process among the educated class. A lot of boost was there for the local literature also, local literature and language. So people understood we should also develop our language, and this gave support for unity in thinking process among the educated classes. All the educated people in India started thinking alike. Yes, we have to stay together as a nation. This thinking came to them because they were able to read and write. Then periodicals started emerging, that magazines started coming up because people could read, people could write. They scrutinized the policies and working of the government, which in turn enabled the Indians to have critical opinions on various issues. They wrote in their magazines lot of criticism against the government policies, and people could read, then people could react. And the fourth point is, new social and religious reformation movements emerged. In the area of religion, a lot of superstitions were there, and in the society, a lot of superstitions were there. When people started reading and thinking, they understood we should not have this sati, we should not have child marriage, we should not have dowry system, we should not have this caste system. Let us go beyond all these. People started thinking, and lot of reformation took place because of that. Then the fifth point, the thoughts of thinkers like J.S. Mill, Rousseau and Montesquieu brought fresh thinking in the mind of educated youth of India. See, when people started reading and writing, they could read lot of books which were written by great thinkers from outside the country, because it was written in English. Once they got English education, they could read those books and understand and get good ideas, new ideas. And the sixth point is, the freedom struggles that were taking place across the globe influenced Indians also. Freedom struggle was not only in India, was also their freedom struggle in other countries which were colonized by many other nations. So this news also reached us because we could read, we could understand. Freedom struggle is going on there, in that country, in this country. Let us also fight for freedom. And the seventh point, Indians could understand and appreciate their rich tradition. When they started reading about other countries and other nations and their culture, it is not that Indians felt very bad, their culture is bad. No, Indians felt very good, that our culture is very good, very superior. When they started comparing and reading about others only, Indians also felt we are not inferior to anybody. We are superior. We are great in this nation. And then the thought of fighting for freedom slowly emerged. So these were the main impact of a British education policy or British education system in India. Dear friends, This much is enough for today, and we will be continuing in the next class with another topic. Thank you.